Hello and welcome to this our second Working Mums Careers Week. We've got all sorts of different advice and support for people looking for jobs this week, all free. And today I'm Mandy Garner. I'm editor of Working Mums, and I'm here with Emma Alkirwi, who's the founder of the CV Guru. Hello, Emma.
Hi there, thanks for having me along.
Brilliant. We've been working with Emma for, I don't know, lots of years anyway.
Yes, quite a few.
Emma has done loads and loads of blogs on our site, so check out our careers page, careers advice page, because she's got loads of useful information there. Today we're going to go through some of the kind of main areas, main sort of questions that I think a lot of us have if we're looking for jobs, particularly at the moment where everything's changing so fast and AI comes into it and all that kind of thing. And we hope it will be useful for you. Please do ask any questions in the chat, and I'll put those to Emma at the end. We've got about half an hour, which is not much time to get through all of those issues. So Emma, on to the first question, which is I really wanted to know what your clients, if people come to you, what are the things that they're most finding difficult or what they need advice for at the moment?
So because we have got a CV business, probably the biggest challenge I would say our clients are having is they don't feel they're getting to interview stage. So they're sending out their CVs to recruiters and feel like it's going into a dark hole somewhere. So it's really about supporting them to position their CV so that recruiters are picking up the phone, but also to get past the applicant tracking software as well, which is the recruiters' databases and screening software that they have. So there's a few ways that are quite simple fixes and other ways that we are educating our clients on, how to position their CVs to get past those systems.
So what kinds of things would you say for the ATS, the applicant tracking system? How, is it all about keywords? Is it, how important are keywords in repeating
So
words?
there's two big factors that you need to consider for ATS. The first one would be, which is a very, very simple fix, and once you've done it, that you don't have to do any further work, is the layout and presentation of your CVs. So it's really important that you don't get tempted into those overly fancy templates that have got, different sides and, different panels, and there's charts and things like that. Keep your CV really clean. Don't have any charts or tables or graphics or logos, and that will allow the computer systems at the other side to pull in all your information into those. So that's a very simple fix there. The other part though is keywords. So it's really important to look at that job advert and really examine the language that's being used in it and almost mirroring that in their CV. And you can do that in the key skills section. So look at the key skills section and mirror the language they're there. So for example, one company might be calling it customer relationship management and the other one might be calling it stakeholder management. So as I said, our stakeholder engagement, make sure that you're using the company's in-house language. So when people are doing those searches at the other side, you will be coming up to the top of the search results.
Brilliant. And is it still important to do a little kind of summary at the top of the CV? Is that where you can get some of the keywords in as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the core of your CV can mostly be the same, a few adjustments in your career summary and things, but the main sections that you need to adapt and position towards each job that you're applying for is the profile up at the top, and that should be 6 to 8 lines, almost like your elevator pitch to summarize your experience and your background. And then you've got the key skills section, which, believe it or not, even though it's the second section on your CV, people's eye will initially be drawn to this because it's literally 8 bullet points. And then the person or the system will go tick, tick, tick. They're worth the read. I will now go back to the top of your CV and read it from start to finish. So both the professional profile and the key skills are really important for whether it's the human first glance or the applicant tracking software as well.
Okay, brilliant. And what about, because a lot of people, and I've spoken to people recently, they say, oh, I've sent out 80 applications and I haven't had any response. I mean, that's not the way to go, is it?
No.
This kind of scattergun approach.
No, absolutely. And it can be so tempting, particularly with a lot of the job platforms, to sit there and just go, right, I'm firing it out. That's me. I've applied for 10. But it's always quality over quantity. So just make sure that you are using those two sections that I talked about, the profile and the key skills section, and then just slightly adjusting it to each position that you apply for. And you will stand a greater chance of success. The cover letter as well is really important here as well, because again, I've probably jumped ahead a little bit, Mandy, but the cover letter is so important too, because again, you can explain anything that you haven't had a chance to in the CV if you need to give that little bit more information. And again, it shows that you've taken the time and effort to the employer and can explain as well why you wish to work for them and why you'd be suitable. It's also a great thing for the cover letter too, if you are transitioning to another sector, or you have had a career gap, you can give a little bit more information in the cover letter as well to explain that, and why you've decided to go for a particular role as well. So the cover letter does show that you've made that commitment to the application process, and does answer any questions that people might have that you've not managed to cover in your CV.
If you're going on like a jobs platform, and you just upload your CV, and then I guess you just click apply and it goes, your CV sent out, but that is very scattergun, isn't it?
Yes.
So should you follow up? Should you or just not just go for a different approach altogether?
Yeah, so you can, with a lot of the jobs platforms, you can have 2 or 3 different versions of your CV usually sitting there, so you don't have to just have that one. So maybe perhaps, for example, there is a big overlap between sales and customer service, for example, or we have had people in the finance industry and they are looking for change management positions. You can have these versions of your CV that are pitched towards these different industries there, but usually with a lot of the job sites, they will do a generic cover letter for you, but it's important that you maybe have something sitting there in a Word document in the background that you can, copy and paste and slightly adjust to each position to just show that you have made that effort. Because a lot of people will say to me, yeah, but is the cover letter important? It absolutely is, because if you've had maybe 20 applicants for a role and only 4 have taken the time to do the cover letter, they're all automatically getting the plus points there from the recruiter's perspective, because they've dedicated their time to that recruitment process, and again as well explained why they wish to apply for the role. And that's what people want to know. You want to show that you are interested. It's not just I'm applying because the job's there.
Yes, absolutely. I have heard sort of experiences of people just applying for things, and as you said earlier, the kind of black hole effect. You just don't get anything back, and that kind of really like impacts on your own confidence in yourself, doesn't it? So is it a good idea to choose your employers, even if there's nothing that they're necessarily sort of advertising, to sort of throw out a speculative application?
Yes, speculative applications are fantastic. Now, at the moment as well, the job market is tough. There is a lot of applicants and maybe fewer vacancies. Hopefully that will change. Now that the UK government stabilised a little bit, we usually see a bit of a reluctance from companies to recruit during kind of political uncertainty. But now that there's a bit more guarantee of what's going on, we should see the vacancies increase, hopefully. But speculative applications are great because a recruiter sometimes does have to go, my goodness, this is going to take up a lot of time. But if people have approached them in the background over the few months, they could have 10 really good high quality candidates sitting there. So that's what's called the hidden job market. And as I said, there are a lot of vacancies that go, well, actually, I don't really want to go to the hassle of putting an advert out, getting back to people, screening all that time. I've got 10 people here that I remember have sent me in. They were keen enough to get to me and they want to come to the company anyway. So I'm just going to ask them, are they still looking for work? And they'll arrange interviews there in the background. So you can go for that approach of what types of companies are relevant to my industry, or if you are in a town, what companies are in my town that I would like to work for, and make an effort to either contact them on LinkedIn and find out who the decision maker is, or you can maybe look on their websites and things and drop them an email with your details. And you will be surprised that over time people will come back to you and say, do you remember you got in touch to give me your CV? Well, we've actually got a vacancy, are you interested?
Brilliant. And that sort of brings me to the kind of using your networks sort of thing, which is often like the hidden jobs sort of idea that a lot of the jobs aren't advertised, and if you use your networks, that's a really good way to find out about things before maybe they become advertised.
Absolutely.
How, like in your LinkedIn profile, I know you've written loads of articles for us on LinkedIn and how you should sort of set it out. Is there any particular thing that you think that people are doing, not doing particularly well on LinkedIn, if they're not having any success? Is there any particular tips that you've got for using it well?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, when they have a LinkedIn platform, if they're currently in a role at the moment, the trap they fall into is they don't really bother with it, or they don't engage with it. And then all of a sudden, when they do, maybe they might have been affected by redundancy, or they are now, for whatever reason, wanting to move on, they then all of a sudden go, oh my goodness, my network on LinkedIn is really poor because I've not, I suppose, maintained it while I've been working. So it's really important to maintain your LinkedIn profile, even though you're not currently looking, and building that network. So get into the habit of, if you are currently working at the moment and have no interest at the moment in finding a role, but you just don't know what's around the corner, connect with your suppliers, connect with your clients, and connect with different people that you work with, because you don't know when you might need them in the future. But also as well, use LinkedIn to increase your knowledge of your industry as well. So follow relevant groups and bodies as well, because then you're almost on LinkedIn, it becomes a valuable feed, the news feed for you. Because a lot of people go, oh, I can't be bothered with people posting stuff about this and stuff about that, but make LinkedIn work for you. So follow the companies that you're interested in working for, even if they are a competitor at the moment. It gives you an advantage in your current role as well, because you're seeing what other companies are doing and how maybe the landscape's changing for them. Follow the industry bodies, the regulatory, find people that are in your industry as well, because you are sharing knowledge and gaining from other like-minded individuals. So my biggest tip would be to maintain your profile, maintain your network as you're going along, but ultimately also is to use your LinkedIn, like keep it updated as well. So keep it updated from your current role as well, because you never know, a headhunter could be in touch, and recruiters will be keeping an eye on you as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And what about the sort of blurb that you put at the top of LinkedIn? That's really important, isn't it? There's sort of your little paragraph of describing who you are and what you do.
Yes. So if you are hoping to be headhunted, which you absolutely can on LinkedIn, the headline that's underneath your name is very important. So people may be putting, for example, customer service advisor. That's not going to perhaps get you very far if you're looking to work into a particular industry, because if a recruiter was looking for that, it's such a generic term, it's really, really hard for them to filter that down. So perhaps you might be in pharmaceuticals, or you might be in some certain type of product or marketing or SaaS systems. You need to say that in the headline, because when the recruiter goes and pops those keywords into their search, you need to appear with the same keywords that they're using. So what you always need to think about with the headline is, if I was looking for me and I wanted to recruit me for a particular role, what would I be typing into that search result? And that's what should be in your headline. Your about section does contribute to you being found as well, which is the paragraph underneath. But that also, again, you need to think about what the recruiter wants to see as well. So talk about your background, your experience, and again, make sure that you use keywords that are in your industry as well, and don't let it be generic. Keep it really focused on what you plan on applying for.
Yeah. And also, I guess all the photo and all of that, it's all part of the deal.
I know, and there's
a
lot, totally, and there's a lot of fake profiles, as you know, with every social media platform. So at the moment, it's really important to build your credibility. So having an up-to-date photo there and having all the sections complete, having a reasonable amount of connections as well, shows that your profile is, and it also increases your quality score as well with recruiters. So you won't appear in their search results if you don't have a photo, or you have a lot of people as well aren't putting in their full name. They might just put Emma A, for example, on it. And that, again, that's quite difficult to trust that profile too.
Yes, absolutely. And then moving from sort of social media and stuff to applications, like if you have to fill in an application form, how do you stand out in an application form? Because there isn't, well, sometimes you can send a cover letter with that as well, I suppose, but it's very, you're very restricted by the boxes that you have to fill in.
You very, very much are. I mean, if you have your CV, you've organised your CV really, really well, you will be able to use a lot of it to copy and paste into, for example, it will say, give me a brief description about this position. You will be able to use that there. Probably the main part for the application form is it's unbelievable the amount of people that don't fully read the application form to see what the criteria is as well. And it's silly things like, should it be in block capitals or should it not be? I know a lot of it's online as well, but just really make sure, because your attention to detail of not reading the instructions at the beginning can be a detriment, and you could be easily passed over if you've not looked at it. But probably the biggest section that people find more uncomfortable is the explain why you are suitable for this position. And again, if you've got a good, well-structured cover letter, that you should be able to use a lot of that information in there as well. So I would, as I said, recommend that even if you are, for example, purely into the public sector where they don't often require CVs, even if you have something set aside that's really structured, one, it will save you time because you've just got to make small amendments, but two, it'll be sharp and focused and you're not starting from scratch all the time. You've got the evidence there, and then you're looking at what the competencies are required from the position and making sure that you're able to evidence it out. Another tip I would also say is write it all out on Word first, so that you can make sure that there's no grammatical or spelling mistakes too. And then you can, when you're ready and feeling happy with it, you can then copy and paste it into the application form.
And on the evidence, it's very important to give examples, I guess, of what you've done, but you have to kind of basically keep them quite short, don't you? Short and punchy.
Yes, I mean, some of them do require a supporting statement. So you are finding some application forms are asking for 750 to 1500 words right at the end. So that does give you a little bit more information to play with, but some of them are very, very restricted. So it does depend on the organisation, but that's why it's really important to have a really good basis already down there, but making sure, as I said, what's important to them, what needs to be covered, and making sure that you have examples sitting there ready to be addressed. So it's really important, particularly in these types of, particularly with application forms, again with a CV too, that you have got some really specific metrics that are there as well to say, I increased sales by X, or I improved time by hours, or something like that, just to prove that you can back up what you've said.
Yes, brilliant. And one of the common things, obviously, that we get asked, and we've been asked over the years, is the whole issue of careers gaps.
Yes.
Application forms, it's slightly different, but what's the best way of explaining? Should you be upfront? Should you put career gap, 2022 to 2024, or what should you do?
Yeah, so it's always good to acknowledge a career gap. You don't want the recruiter to think, oh my goodness, where's this person been, for the last 2-3 years or however long it's been. It doesn't have, people still feel that there might be a stigma attached to having a career gap. There absolutely isn't, as long as you're acknowledging what you've done in that time. So it's absolutely fine to put, perhaps your last job was, say, 2020, and since then you've been raising a family. It's okay to write career gap, write 2021 to present, and simply, you don't need to put too much information in there, but simply a line or two of taking some time out of work to bring up a family, and now able to consider, keen to secure a part-time position or a full-time position, whatever you're looking to go back into. And then you've acknowledged it, you've acknowledged what you've been doing in that time. If you have, during that time when you were, whether you might have been looking after children, taking care of a family member, or perhaps you've had some ill health yourself, but if you have had a chance to do some volunteering in that time, then have a voluntary experience section and expand upon that a little bit. So you might have helped out at maybe PTA or a parent council, or perhaps you've been, helping a friend's business even. Put that down under voluntary experience, because it is valuable and shows that you have been doing extra things. But if you haven't, don't worry about it. It is perfectly normal for people to take time out for a whole range of reasons, but just as long as you're upfront about it, you should be considered.
Yes, I think a lot of it is often confidence as well. I think I've spoken to so many women where they've actually been doing stuff, freelance or little bits on the side or whatever, helping out a friend or a partner or what have you, and they just don't consider that to be, they really play that down.
Absolutely.
And they should put it up there front and center.
No, absolutely, and they really should. So if you have been doing anything, please do put it in your CV because it's all relevant. But at the same time, if for whatever circumstances you haven't, please just be upfront about your career gap. And as I said, you will have experience from before that time as well that you'll be able to use in your CV as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I mean, actually, we've had a question in which says, do you have any advice for returning after a career break of several years, caring for a child, parent, dealing with the personal toll and a late ADHD diagnosis? That's a lot that person's been dealing with. So I guess confidence, I mean, we know that there's, confidence can be a big issue if you've had a career break, particularly a longer career break. But you're still, it's also worth reminding yourself that you're still very able to do the job that you were doing before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think as well, it's the evidence you give yourself. So I wouldn't have any other advice as to do anything different in your CV. But I know sometimes people don't have the luxury of doing that. But confidence can be a big concern for a lot of people as well, particularly if you've had some time out of work and you've had a lot of challenges along the way. So if you are able to and you're in a position, it can be a bit of a confidence booster as well to just perhaps seek a couple of hours a week initially for a few months, doing some volunteering. It could be, there's a lot of organisations out there and a lot of sites that will let you be a volunteer and you can just build up your confidence. It also builds up your CV there in the background as well, because you can go into a lot of information about that on your CV, but it gives you the evidence in your head that you are perfectly capable and you are, very employable as well, because as I said, it will naturally bring your confidence, but without maybe the pressure of feeling like you need to impress an employer. But I know it's not possible for everybody.
Yes, I mean, I've spoken to so many returners over the years who've had short breaks, longer breaks, or very long breaks, and they all sort of seem to be very, a little bit nervous in the first few weeks back, but then they all say, almost all of them say, I just got straight back into it. It took, just a few weeks, and then I was really, I realized that all the skills that I knew before, it's just, there may be changes in technology and stuff like that, but everybody's learning, systems are changing all the time. So everybody's basically having to try and keep up with the next system that comes along.
Sure, for sure. And a lot of people have been, you'll be surprised when you rejoin the workforce as well, how many other people have been in the same position. So everyone, the majority of people are very, very kind and supportive when you do start your new place of work as well. So you will find that it's maybe not as unique to you as you think it is.
Yeah, definitely. In the returner programs, there's lots of companies that run returner programs, and the cohort effect is so important with other returners supporting each other.
Exactly.
I think so. Yes, there's that sort of building your find your people.
Definitely, absolutely.
Yes. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about, which comes up quite a lot recently, is AI, and people are a little bit worried about what that's going to mean, particularly if you've had a career gap, actually. And are the systems, going to be, we know that there's some bias in some of the AI systems. What are the best ways around? Is it all about keywords? Is that the most important thing?
Yeah, so I think, as I said, the AI, the ATS has been there for quite a long time, and that's not really changed very much. But I think probably what has changed on the other side is recruiters, and AI has been very helpful because it has supported recruiters in, for example, writing a lot of job adverts. But perhaps the job adverts, if the person's not reviewing them, there might be words that aren't maybe the company culture type of words. So recruiters have got to be careful that they're still embedding their values and their culture into the job advert as well, so that it doesn't just become a very generic feel from both the applicant side of things and the recruiter side of things. AI also is very helpful, I would say, if you are going along to an interview and you could then put into AI what would be typical interview questions for this type of position, and they will come up with a lot of suggestions as well. So it's very useful. If you are struggling, of course, we are CV writers and we don't use AI at all to write CVs, because we do believe that every CV should be unique to the individual. And what AI I don't think can do, it can give you a good starting point of, give me some responsibilities for this job, but you shouldn't just lift it off the internet, because if everybody does that, then everybody's going to be going around with the same descriptions. It's really important that you think, what will stand me out from other applicants? And that's why you should be very specific about what you achieved in your last role. And they're the things that are unique to you that you cannot find on AI. So did you increase efficiency by reorganizing a filing system? Did you save time on the customer journey by doing X, Y, and Z? Did you increase sales by, and how did you do that? They are things that, as I said, you can't find in AI, but will allow you to, I suppose, be a standout candidate in front of everybody else. Because if everyone else is using AI just to get the same generic job descriptions, there's nothing special about that compared to being specific. So I do think AI does have an important role in recruitment with regards to interviews, compiling job descriptions. Some people have even been using it to keep up to date with like legal requirements as well. But if you are going to be using it to write supporting statements, cover letters, and CVs, I would approach with caution, because you're just going to have generic versus perhaps generic as well. And they're just going to fight against each other.
It's just, yes, you'll have a bot to basically talking to a bot.
Yes, exactly.
Then there'll be no distinguishing thing. The company is going to get all of them with keywords, all the same keywords, all referencing the same stuff. Yes,
for sure.
That's the nightmare scenario. Yeah, brilliant. So I'm just going to go through some of the questions as well that have come up here. So somebody's asked, Patricia has asked, I think maybe she works in HR, I'm not sure. She's saying, does joining HR professional bodies help? I don't suppose in a general, like if you're just applying for any job, but if you are an HR professional, I guess joining your professional network is a good idea.
But you could even as well, because some of it can cost money as well if you're looking to be accredited and things, but you can also follow some of the HR industry bodies on LinkedIn, and then you will be informed of industry developments as and when they come up as well. So you are following any legal changes and things, so it's helping you keep your knowledge up to date. So I would absolutely follow them on LinkedIn so that you can, understand any emerging trends or anything like that.
Yes, because at the moment, I mean, it's been quite a difficult jobs market, a very volatile jobs market in the last few years, where you've had,
it has,
suddenly nothing, and then suddenly a big splurge of jobs, and then like now kind of it's quite quiet on the vacancies.
Yes, for example, marketing I would say has probably suffered the heaviest over the last year. One, because it's niched out quite a lot. So you've got your public relations, you've got social media, you've got branding, where it used to all fall under one umbrella. And now there's a lot of people that it's niched off, but ultimately as well, when people have been cost cutting, companies can be the first to go. They don't see exactly where the money's coming in from. So marketing can be, unfortunately, one of the first jobs to go, but it is actually needed. It's just it needs to be that long-term effect. So marketing has suffered quite a bit at the moment, but IT as well, that's again niched off as well. So it's became really, really specific. So that there's a lot of jobs available in the IT sector, and I'd probably say there's quite a large skill shortage in that area at the moment.
Yes.
So there's some sectors that have not suffered, but there's others, unfortunately, that have, with all the, I suppose, the cost cutting.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question that we've had is, In the lapse of my career break, raising my kids, I have done little work as self-employed. What is the best way to show this on my, she's done a little work as self-employed. What's the best way to show this on my CV? Would it still be reasonable to mention career break? It's that situation that I was talking about, that people have done little things, but sometimes they completely don't mention it at all, even though they've actually been doing things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would absolutely, I don't even think, if you have been self-employed, even on in a very small part-time aspect, I don't think there's much reason to bring up your career break unless there has been a period of time when you've been doing, neither of those, like neither any self-employed or any type of working. If you have been self-employed, treat it like a normal position on your CV. So I would just put your company name, self-employed basis. You could even write part-time if you wish, and then go into detail about what you have done during your time as self-employed. In my opinion, unless you need to, unless it has been you've been doing, little in that time, there's no point, I suppose, in bringing up the career break, because you actually have been working as well. So there's no need to, not because it's any stigma to it, but you have actually been working, so there's no need to mention a career break during that time.
Don't play it down. Don't play it down.
Exactly.
And also there's another question, which is, any advice for your CV if you've been in the same job for a very long time? How do you kind of, I don't know, zhuzh it up?
Yes, because it can be sometimes when you have been in the same job for one time, you think, oh my goodness, I've just got a one-page CV. That's absolutely fine. It shows that you've been very loyal and dedicated to your employer. What I would say to help you stand out from everybody else would be to talk about, make sure that you've really given a lot of thought to your key achievement section on there. So what have you done in that time? If you have been there for a long time, there's probably been quite a lot of change during that time. It could have been new systems have been implemented and you might have supported people with. You might have helped train and mentor other members of staff that you can talk about, and they may have went on to gain promotions. You've probably completed a wide range of training as well during that time. You might have been awarded some form of Employee of the Month or Year award as well. So there's lots of different things that you can show that you have done in that time. So don't just stick with the job description. Think back to all your performance reviews and things like that, and appraisals and things that you can mention, and just see if you can get hold of them and get those achievements in your CV, and that'll be what really helps you get to your next position.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Emma. That's gone by really quickly.
It has.
So many things left to ask about, but thank you so much. You've covered such a lot of ground. And as I said, Emma's got blogs on our website on the careers advice section. Please do check them out.